Good day. Welcome to Paeds at Ease, where we put you at ease for all your children's needs. My name is Dr. Sandra and I am a pediatrician. Thank you for joining me outside on this beautiful summer's day, and I hope that the birds singing and all the other noises around do not drown out what we want to discuss today. Thank you for joining me today. So today we will be discussing home remedies for fever. What is fever? Well, fever is when the body's temperature rises above a certain threshold. So, in degrees Celsius, it's when the body temperature rises above 38 degrees Celsius. Now, the body does this for many reasons. Fever is a symptom, and this is a symptom that can be warning of many abnormal things that may be going on in the body. For today's purposes, I'm going to focus on fever as a sign of infection. So, fever may be a sign of a viral infection, it might be a sign of a bacterial infection, it might be a sign of a fungal infection, it might be a sign of a parasite. Please note, as I told you, that fever may not be only infection, it may be a sign of inflammation for many other reasons, which I will not get into today. So, usually, in order to discover what is going on in the body to cause this fever, it is prudent to go to the hospital, to go to the clinic, basically to go where someone can examine the child in order to find out the reasons for the fever. So let's say the child has been examined and you have determined that this child has a viral infection that's not going to be causing much problems in the body. So maybe the child has a runny nose, maybe the child has a slight cough, but is generally not completely unwell. Or this is before you've gone to see a healthcare professional, but the child still seems quite fine, still eating, still running around, and the fever, the child doesn't yet have many other signs that are worrying you. Please note that if you are worried about anything or if the child is not being themselves, go to the doctor, go to the clinic, go to the hospital. Don't stay at home with a child who you're worried about and who you're not sure what is going on. This child needs to be examined. So at home, you can do the following. First thing, take off all excess clothing. What does this mean? If the room is not that cold, it's prudent to just leave the child in a nappy or an underwear and just take off the shirt, take off the any other extra clothes that the child might have, and let the child just have the body open. That will help to lower the fever. Another home remedy, which was taught to me by a nurse that I know, is to put the child with only the skin, just with a nappy on or the underwear on, skin to skin onto your body. This, of course, is quite uncomfortable for the person holding the child because it might be extremely uncomfortable to hold this hot child on your body. But this does reduce the fever very slowly and in a more manageable way. Another thing that you might think of doing is tepid sponging. Now, tepid sponging has had a very bad rap in the past and is actually no longer recommended, but mostly because people were doing it badly. Let me tell you why they were doing it badly. Logically, you'd think if you have a hot child, you should use cold water. No, that is not correct. If you have a child with a fever, you have to use lukewarm or warm water, never cold water. You'd say, why, doctor? That doesn't make sense. I know. Logically, you'd think the colder the water, the better the recovery of the fever. But no, the body actually reacts in the opposite way. If you put a feverish child in cold water, the temperature goes down slightly for a short while, then shoots back up. And so what you start having is these spikes of temperature going from 38, and then you do this tepid sponging with very cold water, then it goes up again to 38.5, keeps going up. Then you find that the child actually has like 5 fever spikes and maybe actually wouldn't have had that kind of reaction, but it's because of using very cold water. Another thing that can happen if you use very cold water on a feverish child is that the child can come out in hives, what we call urticaria, little bumps on the skin that look as if the child is having an allergic reaction. This can happen when you use very cold water on a feverish child. So the basic thing here, don't use cold water to try to lower a fever. You have to use lukewarm to warm water. Put the sponge or the cloth in the warm water and rub the child all over the body, and you'll see that the temperature will actually softly go low because the fever is doing something in the body. Everything that happens in a child is always for a reason. So we don't want to just stop things that are actually warning us or doing something. Fever, as I said, is a symptom warning us, but it's also doing something in the body. What is it doing? By increasing the ambient temperature in the body, the atmosphere in your body becomes very uncomfortable for viruses and bacteria or any other parasites, and they actually start to die off or become unable to function the way they would function in normal body temperature. So the fever is not only warning us about what's going on, it's also protective to the body. So try these 3 remedies if you feel that the fever is something you can manage, but make sure that you always consult your healthcare professional and go have the child examined. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.